well, how in the world is that geography? You will find out. It's very geography. Okay, first of all, we're going to go through, I'm logging on to Cornell University. I'm going to log on to Cornell University in their math department because they have a nice demonstration that I can access over the internet. And the first, we have to understand how to do trade areas. For example, the guide, which is not should you, but you must, guide of the Appraisal Institute is titled The Appraisal of Real Estate. These are the rules you have to follow as an appraiser when you are doing any kind of market valuation. And it says in the Appraisal of Real Estate, you must get your comparables. So you probably all are familiar with the concept of comparables, like when the realtor goes to your house and they say, well, you know, houses in your subdivision are selling for $150 a square foot. You've got 2,000 square feet, and I've got 3 recent comparables. So your house is worth $150 times 2,000. So that's your valuation. That's the comparable. The Appraisal of Real Estate says you must, not you shall. It'd be nice if you did. You must get your comparables from the trade area. Well, what is a trade area? Well, that's some of the research. I've been doing research. What is a trade area? I mean, that's a very fundamental, basic research question. That's the kind of stuff that university professors do. And then once we figure it out, then the practitioners can apply it. And we're still trying to figure out what a trade area is. So one of the simplest ideas of what a trade area is what mathematics they call the Voronoi diagram or Dulani triangulation. And let's say I'm going to go there. I think I've already actually brought up that website here. That's a background from the new computer I'm just now putting together. Okay, so here it is. I'm at Cornell University, and let's say I have a place here. That's a retail place, let's say. And I want to calculate the trade area boundary between the two. So here's another place here. And what we've done is we've just then, I'll get more colorful here, and we've just done then 2 areas. And I can add more on here. And within a color, you are closer to that point that I just clicked than you are to any other point. So that is one first rough estimation of a trade area. Yes? Okay. So we can do other things which become more complicated, but I'm not going to go through that. One example is having basically a weighted trade area where instead of just counting all points equally, we can weight the points according to some value. Like what is the trade area of a shopping mall? We would use square footage of the shopping mall. And the greater is the square footage, the greater will be the draw of people, the greater would be the penetration anywhere within the trade area, and also the larger will be the trade area. Yes, sir?
What if it was on a major street and the trade area actually uses that street? You just show them by areas.
Good.
If they are, like for example, you do a survey of how many people pass that street.
Right.
And because the DOE has that. So it sounds like the trade area would be much broader than just kind of geographic because it's a major artery.
You are absolutely correct, and I'm going to get to that. And we call that drive time. And so we can calculate geographic information systems technology allows us to calculate drive times very, very regularly. What we'd say is each retailer knows what their drive time trade area is. They know that people are willing to drive 10 minutes, 12 minutes to, whether they're going 20 miles an hour or 60 miles an hour, they're going to drive 12 minutes and that's it. And that's their trade area. And we won't get to that momentarily. So I'm just introducing to you the concept. This is the first estimation. So if I was, and I will do this, I will break up Florida into trade areas for the universities later on. And so when we do drive times, we're typically looking at a smaller area. But if we're looking at the entire state, like what's the trade area for Florida State versus University of Florida, as a first estimation, and only as a first estimation, we use this type of procedure. So this is one. Get out of this here. what's your name, the gentleman that just asked me the question? What? Richard, oh, Richard, yeah, Richard said, yeah, hey, but what about how do you drive from here to there? Isn't that more important? And so for Veterans Day, I thought this would be a good cartoon for those of us who remember Little Bailey. And absolutely, you know, we have to consider drive time. And so the Voronoi polygon is a good estimation of a trade area under some circumstances to give us a general idea. But I would not want to go to court and say that two comparables with a Voronoi polygon is in the same trade area. That's not going to cut it. So how to calculate trade areas? There's a lot of different ways. In real estate, you might have heard about range studies, and that's just throwing a ring out 3 miles, 6 miles, and so forth. And as Richard said, this does not deal with the issue of how far you can go in 6 minutes and what 6 minutes means. For 6 minutes to Best Buy, that's nothing. I mean, they're looking at a 30-minute trade area or more. For a restaurant, restaurants are typically looking at a trade area of no more than 6 miles, but about 12 minutes for a restaurant, or 10 minutes. For 80% of their customers, that's how we deal with it. And we can look at zip codes. Well, the problem with zip codes is that these are made just for the convenience of the U.S. Postal Service. That we have Postal Service geography, and we have census geography of census tracts and so forth, but they don't really represent a trade area. What they are is a convenient means of packaging data for us. So when I look at my spatial spreadsheet, my GIS software, I have data in my zip code, and zip codes for me are polygons on a map, and each one is a container for data. Drive time that Richard brought up. This is the drive time around, I think it's Butler Plaza. And we have a procedure that I've been developing with a colleague of mine, amoeba wedge. And you say, well, can't you think of a better name than that? Amoeba wedges. And what we're doing with the amoeba wedge approach is that and this can only be really done in an automated geographic information system software program that I'll demonstrate to you momentarily. But with an amoeba wedge, we are dividing up the area around our retail store into segments, like you would do with a pie, or a cake. You're going to cut it into slices. And how many slices do you cut it into? If they're too small, then you're going to be missing your points. If it's too big, then it's not random. So there's still a lot of judgment. Should we use 6 slices? Should we use 12 slices, and so forth? And then what we allow then is for each wedge to grow outwards, depending upon how many of your known customers you're going to pull in to your wedge. Now there's problems with that, because let's say that I'm moving a wedge outwards, and then I go into Paynes Prairie. There ain't nobody in Paynes Prairie. So we have a hole in our market area. Our trade area is not spatially smooth and continuous. It might be, in fact, globular. I might have a glob down in Micanopy or somewhere down there. And if I just use my wedge method, then I'm going to stop at Paynes Prairie. And there are businesses, in fact, that use the wedge method, and they would stop at Paynes Prairie. So we've been using some statistics to run it, for those of you who are familiar with statistics of regression analysis, running a distance decay curve going down there, so we know whether we should expand outwards to gather in more points. So that's